All right. Good morning, everybody. It's great to have everybody here to celebrate our 2026 class of Gopher football. So this is really, really important for our future of our program. When you look at our roster, this is the lifeblood of our program. We're about 80% high school players in development and another 20% right around there with transfer portal players. And a lot of our transfer portal players are multi-year players where we can continue to develop them. So we are and always will be a developmental life program, and we're really, really proud of that. Transformational with transactions involved in it. And all these players at the end of the day selected this program for everything that it's about and thought it was a perfect fit for them. No recruiting involved anymore. It's all about showing them exactly what it is in this portal age and this transfer portal age and NIL. Show them exactly what it is and find out if it fits them. And I think we definitely did that. There's tons of excitement around our building and around our program, especially with winning the Axe for the fourth time in the last 5 years, which is really big for our program. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But I want to thank all of our coaching staff. They worked tirelessly of putting this class together. Not only that, our recruiting staff does an amazing job. And it's more about a personnel staff. Garrett Chernoff, our general manager and chief of staff, does an absolutely unbelievable job of keeping it all together. Marcus Hendrickson's in charge of our personnel staff, and I know we have a lot of them here today. Marcus Hendrickson is our director of player personnel. We have John Shakel with us as well, Kramer Cook, one of our recruiting coordinators, Madison Roberge, Lauren Garlow, Tanner Snudstead, Nick Lee, Will Drew, Chase Gallagher, and Joe Reddy. You talk about a personnel staff that works tirelessly to put a lot of things together, that host a lot of our players, and at the end of the day, got to put it all together like a puzzle and make it work. So that was really big. So thanks for all that you did and your commitment to our program. It absolutely means a lot to us. And your work never goes unnoticed because it is a lot. And I think everybody knows that in this 2025 going into 2026 version of college football. So just a few things to hit on before we go talk about all the players. And I'm going to hit a few tidbits about every single kid that we signed. This is the highest ranked recruiting class in Minnesota history, ranked 24th in the country. And I'm really, really proud to say that we signed our first top 25 class. It took us 9 years. Yeah, absolutely. It took us 9 years, but some people ask me, like, how do you get the number 1, 2, and 3 player in the state of Minnesota to commit and sign again? How do you get the number 1 player in the state of Wisconsin again? Number 1 player in the state of Indiana, number 3 player in the state of Wisconsin. But more importantly, the top 3 in the state of Minnesota. Kids camp. I said that a long time ago, that one, cultural sustainability is going to have to be a big key aspect to recruiting in the future and keeping in-state kids here. We are now recruiting and signing players who were at our little kids camp 9 years ago. And we were going to raise them Gophers, we're going to teach them Gophers, and we're going to keep them Gophers. And we said that 9 years ago, and everybody's like, yeah, I haven't seen it happen just yet. And now consistently, year in, year out, that's coming to fruition. So I want to thank our director of athletics, my boss, Mark Coyle, for believing in our program and allowing us to have the cultural sustainability that we've had. Dusty Clements as well, who is our administrator for football and all that he continues to do for everything that we do. 17 of these players are going to be mid-year enrollees. That's the highest we've ever had. Getting them here, getting started is going to be absolutely critical. 28 of the 31 are multi-sport athletes, are competing all year round. Different sports, which is really important to us as we keep moving forward. And then we have 9 players playing for state championships or have won state championships. Braden's a back-to-back state champion as well. So we're bringing in champions. If you're going to win a championship and you want to go to the CFP and you want to continue to evolve the program, you want those things to happen, you got to bring players in that understand what it takes to win championships and what kind of locker room that looks like. So they picked here academically, athletically, socially, and spiritually. They picked the hyperculture, the Row the Boat program, and they're winners as we move forward. So we have 17 states represented about the guys we're about ready to hit on, and I look forward to sharing those guys with you. It's the second time in program history that we've signed a top 50 national recruit. And when you look at it, Coy Parrish was one of them, and then Aiden H., who's from Indiana. We'll talk about him here in a little bit. But really, really excited about this class. We'll talk about every kid. I'll go a little bit quicker than I have in the past. I don't know what the over and under is about how long I go. I'll have to ask Ryan Burns what that was online. So we're going to get right into it and talk about our 2026 signees. So first and foremost, number one, Owen Lansu. He's from Downers Grove, Illinois. He's a winner. He's 31-8 in his career as a quarterback. Threw for 5,500 yards, 60 touchdowns in his high school career. He's really, really smart. He's a 4-time honor roll student. He's above a 4.0 GPA, Dean List recipient. And I absolutely love, I have to throw this into his sister Ava. So a little shout out to Ava out there. And thanks for being a Gopher. She loves the bowl. So I don't know if there's bowling alleys with NIL and all that other stuff, but Ava loves the bowl. Ava bowls every single day without fail with his dad, Brian. So they have that in common, and it's pretty special. Really glad to have Owen with us. The second person I'll talk about is another quarterback, Brady Palmer, out of the San Diego, California area. And here's what I'll say about this young man. This is how good all of you are. Our donors, our supporters, our fans, our band, our student body. There were 50,000 people there the other night in the snow globe. And if you watch TV in the rivalry games, a lot of them didn't have anybody there. We did, because it's our North. We brought a quarterback that had just decommitted from an ACC school in California, and he was always on our list and really high on our board. Then he committed to a certain school, which was great. Well, then he decommitted, and we brought him on campus. And we brought him to the Snow Globe, Wisconsin game. And he's a quarterback from California, San Diego area. I FaceTimed him today. He turned it around. It was sunshine, blue skies. It looks like Stanford's campus with palm trees. That's his high school. But he came to this game, and we were like, it's going to go one of two ways. This is either going to go really good or not so good. And he committed after the game. And you talk about the right kid from the right state that saw that environment and those elements and said, I want to be a part of that, and didn't run from it. So that's the type of kid Brady is. He's 10-2 on the season. He's still playing. This kid is a high IQ quarterback. He's got a really good arm, live arm. He's a winner. What I love about him, he helped his team improve from 4-8, and now in 2023 they went 9-3 and 24, and then they continue to go on, and now he's playing in the championship. So comes from a Navy family, so a military background. He's a 3-sport athlete. Okay, so football, rugby, and surfing. So I said, I can't give you the surfing, but we can go by your place on Lake Minnetonka and do some wake surfing. We can definitely do that. He'd camp, so there you go. But I think this is really, really important for everybody to know. They have a lot to experience here in the state of Minnesota, because I said, you ever heard of the Mall of America? They're like, what? So this is going to be a lot of fun having the Palmer family join us here. Next, at the running back position, Ezekiel Zeke is his nickname, Bates, from Pennsylvania. He's an all-purpose, versatile back. He's big. He's 6 foot plus, 210 pounds, averaged over 6 yards per carry, a bruising tailback, had 13 touchdowns as a senior. He's a two-way player, also really violent linebacker as well. 25-5 career winner at Melbourne Prep, which is a really good school over there in Pennsylvania. So he was a team captain as well, but big physical running back. As we continue to go, we're going to load up on those tailbacks as we move forward. So really excited to have Zeke. Next, maybe one of the most electric players in the country, in my opinion. He ran for 7,633 yards as a running back. Running back Ryan Estrada from El Paso, Texas. Not only that, this last year, he ran for 3,053 yards and did it in very dynamic ways, but that's averaging 13 yards per carry and had 45 total touchdowns. When you talk about extremely productive, dynamic playmaker, electric, across the country, 4-star recruit, a big-time player that a lot of people, wanted. Finished his high school career at El Paso's all-time leading rusher and broke current Minnesota Vikings record Aaron Jones. So you talk about a young man that's going to come in here. He'll be in here in June, but once he gets here in June, we're just going to start handing him the football and get him going that way. But really excited to have Ryan and his mom, Amanda, inside our program. Next, staying with the running backs, as you can see a theme here, Nico Castilla from, again, Pennsylvania. Again, he's a two-way player, also plays linebacker and plays the edge. He was 32-6 a career as a varsity player. So, again, another winner bringing him into our program. Big back, hybrid traits. A two-way player, as I mentioned, punishes defenders in the way that he runs. Tallied 252 tackles, 13 sacks, 7 interceptions on defense, and then 2,700 plus all-purpose yards and 40 touchdowns on offense in his high school career. So very, very productive running backs when you look top to bottom of what we're bringing in. Got to have some really good receivers to go along with those running backs. Rico Blasingame from Arizona. You talk about a very loyal young man. In the world of transfer portal in college, transfer in high school. This young man's high school team didn't do very well a few years ago. And he didn't decide to leave, transfer, he stayed there. And I asked him, why'd you stay there? And he said, because I'm not going to let my teammates down. I want to be the reason and help them be the reason we turn this thing around. A lot of young people aren't going to do that these days. They're going to run. And he didn't do that. He's a 4-star wide receiver, big-time playmaker, basketball player as well. Again, one of the multi-sport athletes. Had over 178 receptions, over 2,200 yards and 20 touchdowns in his career. He's ranked the number 51 wide receiver nationally, number 4 overall player in the state of Arizona by 247 Sports. And what I love most about his family is his mom, Beverly, and his dad, Ryan. They love beer. It's awesome. Beverly, what would you like? A beer, and they love craft beer. So you can imagine the Minnesota craft beer tours they're going to be going on, and that was a big sell to them once they knew that. So how does a kid get from Arizona to Minnesota? Craft beer. I can say that, right? If I couldn't just rewind, edit, delete, Control-Alt-Delete. They still Control-Alt-Delete? We learned that? Let's just move on. Staying with the wide receivers in the positions, Hayden Moore from Gainesville, Florida. Explosive athlete with the ball in his hands. Had 137 catches, over 2,500 yards, 30 touchdowns in his high school career. One thing I'll tell you about his family, his mom, Heidi, makes the best macaroni and cheese in the world. It was actually sent to me, which is absolutely awesome, in this unbelievable glass dish, Max, wrapped in this wax non-stick paper. I mean, elite, in a cooler. So we're talking like elite of the elite, process, detail. And she said I could tell all of you it's made with extra sharp Sargento cheese and also mozzarella. That's her secret. So phenomenal. So maybe that's why we brought Hayden in here. It was the macaroni and cheese. It wasn't just Hayden, but he's a big-time playmaker, had a lot of offers to go a lot of different places, but really glad Hayden's here and he can really run. Speaking of running, Braden Stevens from the Kansas City, Missouri area. This kid runs a 10.3 800 meters. In case you're wondering, that's pretty fast. And he's not only that, he long jumps 21 feet. He plays in the Class 5A state championship on Friday. Here coming up on 12-5 versus Carthage. Went 14-0 and won the Class 5 state championship in 24. But he's ranked as the number 1 wide receiver in Missouri. We're really loading up that wide receiver room as we continue with Drake, building those weapons around him. But he's got big-time, world-class speed, dynamic with the ball in his hands. And we're talking all different types of ways to get the ball in this kid's hands because he is fast, and very explosive. And fought to keep him. A lot of people wanted him. Fought to the very end to make sure that he stayed on board. But I'm really excited with Braden. And you can see this young man helping us early as a freshman because he has a rare trait. It's really hard to play as a freshman unless you have rare traits and something to bring that you can play as a true freshman, and he definitely has that. So next up, we're talking about Quade Hendricks, another wide receiver. He's out of Burlington, New Jersey. Dynamic receiver, again, track-type speed, but he's a football player. He runs a 10.500 meters, elite ball skills. It's a human highlight reel. Go look at his highlight tape. It's unbelievable. the way this kid makes plays, not only with the catching the football, the run after the catch, playmaking ability. Won the Group 4 state championship on Sunday, a day after my birthday on November 30th. He finished the season 12-1. He had 9 catches in that game, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had an 87-yard kickoff return. Starting to get that speed theme as we keep moving forward. Had 120 catches, over 1,800 yards, and 23 touchdowns in his career. He runs a 10.6, 10.5, 10.6, 100 meters, and a 21.47, 200 meters. So first team All-South New Jersey in basketball as well. So this kid can play, and definitely a big-time athlete. Josiah Dozier from Moody, Alabama. This was one of our late flips at wide receiver. He was committed to a different school right up till today, right around today, tomorrow, or yesterday, day before, the last few days. He'll play in the Class 5A state championship in Alabama tomorrow. So again, another state champion type player. 42 catches, over 700 yards, and 13 touchdowns this year. But you're talking about a player that's named All-State First Team in the state of Alabama in 2024. Talking about a player who's big, he's long, he's strong. 50-50 catches are like 90-10 catches. This kid's catching those all the time, doing a great job. But really, really excited because this was one of our surprises of the class. We can't necessarily talk about that. It happened really late in the game. But we wanted to make that a big surprise because it is. And I'm really proud of Josiah for making that decision. We love having him on our roster now as a Gopher. Next up, George Roll went across the border to get the 5th-ranked player in the state of Wisconsin. Big tight end. Kind of reminds me of Nick Callerup when you look at it. Nick Callerup came in as a freshman and then was an undrafted free agent. And now plays for the Seattle Seahawks, as some of you got to see last weekend. But he's a hard-nosed, tough, Midwest-type kid. He's a physical tight end, 2-way player in high school, also played edge rusher, wants to be a hunter, fisherman, videographer. What a great state to be in, right? And we'll get outside the Twin Cities a little bit for that, but has his own outdoors YouTube page, George Roll. You got to look it up. So pretty amazing. Maybe he can give you some pointers on why you're not getting those pheasants on the ground, right? So he can help you out. What are we, deer season now? Yeah. Is it bow? Still bow? All right. Yeah, that's good. We got this big one that lives in our backyard. Huge buck. Yeah. Anyway. Maybe he's in our yard and he knows he's safe. So perfect area. The Flecks aren't hunters, so he's good. All right, here we go. Next up, one of the biggest names in the recruiting class. A lot of you know who he is. Our tight end, Roman Voss, from Jackson County Central High School, ranked the number 2 player in the state of Minnesota. Went back and forth between him and Howie as they continue to rank those. But you talk about a young man who's going to walk in here and help us. He absolutely loves football. He loves football as much as he reminds me of a guy we had at Western Michigan by the name of Robert Spillane, who's a starting linebacker for the New England Patriots. And I think he's on year 8 or 9 playing in the NFL as an undrafted free agent. And eats, breathes, sleeps football. What do you want to do today? Well, I want to play football. What do you want to sleep on tonight? Footballs. What would you like to eat? Footballs. And that's all Robert Spillane talked about. And because his grandfather was Johnny Latner, Heisman Trophy winner back in the day. A lot of you might hear that name, Johnny Latner, know who that was. But Roman Voss reminds me of that type of athlete and that football mindset that Robert Spillane had. He's ranked in the top 300 nationally, but it's really more about the type of person he is. I love recruiting people, and you're not going to meet a finer young man in the country than Roman Voss. And I think a lot of you are in for a treat. It was really, really good to keep one of the best players in the state of Minnesota home. And I'm just proud of him for seeing that. Went out to watch his high school game. It was fantastic. And popcorn was really good there. You know how much I love popcorn. Popcorn was really good. But it was just amazing to be on the sideline. And when you're as a college coach on a sideline and more people just keep coming up to you and talking so many great things about the kid. Forget the football player, but the kid. That's what it's all about. So Jackson County Central High School, one of the best players ever to go through there, Roman Voss. Next up, Gabe Weaver, who's a tight end, right out of the St. Louis, Missouri area. Former basketball player. Kind of has a body a little bit like Brevin Spanford, like when we kind of inherited that body. But we talk about it shows in his ball skills, the basketball traits show in the ball skills. He's ranked the 36th tight end nationally by Rivals, but he's a three-sport athlete, basketball, track, and football. We're really, really excited to have him. He's got a huge ceiling. Going to have to work in the weight room, going to have to work with the nutrition piece, but so did Brevin Spanford, and really, really excited to have Gabe part of this class. Next up, really proud to say the #1 player in the state of Wisconsin as an offensive lineman came to the University of Minnesota. Gavin Meyer from Janesville, Wisconsin. Big-time leader off the field, old school Big Ten lineman. He's big, he's strong, he loves the game. And we call him low pad level people movers. And that's what he's going to do for us in the trenches. Came with his family to a Wisconsin game last week to keep the axe. I think the biggest piece that we had to convince was his brother Kenny, little dude, who just absolutely had more questions in my office than the parents and him. So I'm not kidding. I've never heard a brother who's very young ask more questions in a head coach's meeting multiple times than my boy Kenny. So Gavin Meyer, bringing him across the border and getting the #1 player out of the state of Wisconsin is really huge for us. Next up, staying with the offensive line, which we want to be able to continue to beef up, recruit, develop. Aaron Thomas out of the Phoenix, Arizona area, gifted athlete. Committed to a different Big Ten school, was able to get him to become a Gopher, valued the developmental program. That was really big to him. Now, if I put him in front of you right now, you wouldn't think he had to be developed. He's massive. But the mental part, the emotional part, knowing the game through Brian Callahan's eyes and being trained by Brian Callahan was really, really important for him. His father, Eric Thomas, won the 1999 national championship with Florida State, so he's got that winning blood running through his veins, and played in the NFL for the Buccaneers and the Jaguars as well. So great to have Aaron here coming from Arizona. Lucas Tealsh from Akron, Ohio, another offensive lineman, big human being, 2-time first-team All-State selection, which is really big in Ohio, which has great high school football, 3-time first All-Conference selection as well. Competed in the state championship again in 2025. His dad, Barry, played football at Penn State from 1992 to 1996, so he's got that blood running through his veins as well. But he's a hard-nosed Ohio football player, and he played all 5 positions for the offensive line. So you talk about the versatility as we keep moving forward was absolutely huge. Then he was first-team all-conference with a throw of 162 feet in the discus. It's pretty far, just so you know. So great to have Lucas and his family join us. We're getting to another offensive lineman, which a lot of you know his name, Andrew Trout, the #1 recruit and the first recruit that was committed to us starting this 2026 class. He's ranked the #3 player in the state of Minnesota. He's a definition of being a Minnesota Golden Gopher. His mom, Teresa, might be the sweetest lady on the planet. She truly is. I mean, they really wanted to be Gophers from the beginning. And his father, Bill, was so fun to work with and be around. They're some of the most gracious people, empathetic people you'll ever meet. Ultimate connector of the class, first commit, physical, prototype offensive lineman here at the University of Minnesota, relentless in the trenches, 4-star recruit, first commit of the 2026 class. And it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been able to put together a top 25 class because he was the first one that had to do it, believe in the vision as we continue to talk. So, really, really proud of Andrew and his commitment over there from Rocori in Minnesota. So, Beckett Schreiber, another offensive lineman. This guy reminds me a little of John Michael Schmitz. His nastiness, the way he plays. He's from Madison, Wisconsin, which is really, really good to get another one out of there. He can play all 5 positions. He's athletic. He's twitchy. His pad level's really good. He's got the athleticism of a tight end, but the body of an offensive lineman. And we felt that way about John Michael Schmitz when he got here. Late start to his recruiting process because he missed his junior season with an injury, but was very impressive in his senior year. Had a lot of attention as we got into this fall, had to get into a lot of recruiting battles. 2-sport athlete, not only plays football, but he also plays basketball. But this guy's really nasty on the football field, so brings that type of mentality to our O-line, which we can't wait to have him here. So next up, Josiah Anyansi from California, from the Murrieta area. Provides versatility in forms of the finesse, power, twitch, which is evidence on his film. He'll be ready to wreak some havoc on our Havoc defense in the backfield. He had 45 tackles, 13 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles in his junior year. So he's a two-sport athlete, track and field, as well as football. So we're really excited to have him being able to come off the edge for us. Next up, the #1 ranked player in the state of Indiana and a top 40 recruit in the country, which is the highest ranked player we've ever had in the University of Minnesota history, and that's Aiden H. This guy's going to wreak havoc off the edge. Extremely productive edge rusher. Think Boye Mafe, but maybe a little bit further along in his process. Has a natural skill set for defeating blocks and making plays in the backfield. Again, 4-star, 36 ranked player in the country. He had 112 tackles his senior year, 33.5 tackles for a loss, 20 sacks. Anthony Smith has 10.5, if that gives you some perspective. 32 quarterback pressures, 3 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, 1 touchdown, and then he had 2 punt blocks. So when you can imagine, he's a 4-sport athlete. Football, basketball, track, and he's a really good baseball player. So broke Jefferson High School single-season record with 20 sacks this year. Can't wait to have this young man on campus. He'll be here before we know it. So really glad to have Aiden H. In our program. Jeremiah Benson, he's a defensive lineman from West Bloomfield, Michigan. Disruptive, has a huge ceiling, high ceiling, comes from one of the best high school programs in the state of Michigan at West Bloomfield High School. He'll be bringing those winning habits with him to Minnesota. Ranked the #1 D tackle in the state of Michigan. His stats were 49 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 11 quarterback pressures. So happy to have him. Next up, staying with the defensive linemen, defensive ends, Anthony Charles from McDonald, Pennsylvania, South Fayette High School. High ceiling, again, another high ceiling guy is going to have to work in the weight room, put some weight on. 56 tackles, 13.5 tackles for loss, 15 quarterback pressures, 1 touchdown as well. It'll be pivotal. That weight room piece will be pivotal for him becoming an all Big Ten player. So he's long, strong, but got to develop in the weight room as well. But love to have Anthony Charles part of us. All right, the #1 player in the state of Minnesota, again, is a Gopher, Howie Johnson. From Forest Lake High School in Forest Lake, Minnesota. Strong, tough, physical, nasty, high motor. This kid's motor never, ever shuts off. His violence, his how, perfectly fit what we're doing with the Havoc defense. Again, ranked the 141st overall prospect in the country, #1 in the state of Minnesota. I can go on about his stats. He was Minnesota Mr. Football finalist. All-time leader in career tackles for a loss, 88, and sacks, 20 in Minnesota. And career stats, 181 tackles, 88 tackles for loss, 20 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown. If you do meet his family, you know where he comes from. Even when you meet his mom, Tracy. She is a go-getter and she is a bulldog. And that's where he gets that go-getter mentality. But he'll have an opportunity to be on the field for us as a freshman because that physical strength, he has it. Now it's about the mental and emotional piece crossing over into college. Next up, went out to Arizona. I think one of the better linebackers we've ever signed, in Hudson Dunn from Liberty High School. Great high school out in Arizona, in the Peoria, Arizona area. A lot of blue blood offers. But you talk about extreme fit and selecting our program. He's got amazing parents that talk about academics, talk about the social life, they talk about the spiritual life, they talk about football. They want the whole thing. They want life. Not a lot of people want that anymore, and they did. And even out in Arizona, we can find a perfect fit out there that can select our life program, and he definitely did that. Very, very versatile type player. Ranked the number 42 linebacker nationally and #1 linebacker in the state of Arizona by Rivals. 2025 season, 56 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, 23 quarterback pressures, 1 PBU, 2 forced fumbles. His dad, Zach, mom, Brandy, have done an unbelievable job raising this young man. You're all going to love this kid. You are going to fall in love with him in the media. You're all going to fall in love with him in the way he plays. Angel Luciano, right, he's from Pennsylvania, Steelton, Pennsylvania. Another great name of a good Pennsylvania town, Steelton. right? Inside linebacker, has a nose for the ball, incredibly violent. Has a lot of high school film that's parallel to Mariano Sori-Marin in the way he plays. He's ranked as a top 50 linebacker nationally and number 2 in PA by ESPN. But this guy is a definite go-getter. His mom, Marlene, I'm just telling you, she's out there, she's listening, was a little skeptical at the beginning, but we won her over at the end. But his father, Angel Sr., absolute rock star. You talk about trusting the process, loving his son, going through that process with him. They want what's really best for him, and this was a great fit. Happy to have him. Next up, Justin Hopkins from the Nashville, Tennessee area. Ensworth High School, a very popular high school out there. It's coached by Tim Hasselbeck. A lot of you see Tim Hasselbeck on ESPN, former NFL quarterback. You'll see him on ESPN do a bunch of stuff and then fly back out and go coach a high school team. Pretty cool. He goes in and out, back and forth. This young man, I'm going to kind of describe him. He looks like Justin Wally. Identical. Look, this could be Justin Wally's brother. But the family reminds me of Sharice and Rodney Newman. Their support and their love for Gopher football. This kid was the ultimate connector of the class as well. He can play safety, he can play nickel, he can play corner. Ranked as a 37th corner in the country. Two-way player that's also a great kick returner. Burst, athleticism, twitch. Top 3 all-time in Ensworth history in interceptions, receptions, and reception yards. 10 career interceptions. He had 12 tackles on the year. He had 32 receptions as well. Also, he had 4 interceptions. But this kid is an unbelievable person. The only thing is his brother, his nickname's Badger. So we got to change his nickname. His nickname's becoming Gopher. And I told him, when you get here, it's becoming Gopher. So we're changing the nickname. That's all it is. But Hopkins out of the Nashville area. Next up, another one of our corners we signed, Chance Payne. Love that last name for a football player. Am I right? Yeah, right. From Jefferson High School in Jefferson, Georgia. Really twitchy, can really run, he can cover, he's got a ton of speed, physical in the run game as well. A lot of you saw Aiden Gooseby this past game play corner. And you saw we took him and moved him to corner. Very, very physical. Changed the way we play corner. So has John Nestor. Changed the way we play corner. The physicality at that position. Chance brings that pain and that hitting ability to be able to do that, with pun intended there. Ranked as a top 50 corner nationally by ESPN. 101 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions. He's still playing. They're currently 12-1 right now, and in the state championships on Friday. So look forward to watching him in those state finals, in the state finals in Georgia. Next up, from Racine, Wisconsin, another Scotty coming out, ranked the number 3 player in the state of Wisconsin. Lamont Hamilton, who's a DB coming over to play for us. Two-way player, very dynamic football player. Ranked the number 3 overall player in the state of Wisconsin, as I said, named to the all-state team as a wide receiver and as a defensive back. He had 46 tackles, 5 interceptions. He'll be competing in basketball this winter as well, where he averages 30.5 points per game in basketball. So tremendous. 4.5 rebounds a game and 2.5 assists. This kid is an elite athlete. Nickname is Duty. So just giving you all these nicknames as they walk in here. So everybody be ready with all these nicknames. You'll be tested later on. But I think that's tremendous when you're talking a basketball player. 30.5 points per game, that's a lot. And also being one of the best DBs in the country. So happy to have him. Next up, Jordan Lampkins from Bolingbrook High School in Bolingbrook, Illinois, a school I know very well. Developmental player that has a huge upside. Speed, athleticism, versatility, can play safety, can also play nickel. 63 tackles, 2 interceptions, a sack, a forced fumble. Just really, really happy to have Jordan here from a high school we know very, very well that produces a lot of top talent across the country. So really, really excited to have Jordan with us. Next up, Trayson Richardson, who's a safety out of Fort Bend County, Texas, Fort Bend Crawford High School. This guy reminds me a little bit as we go forward of some of the safeties we've had in our past. Physicality, downhill, Kerry Brownish type player. Very physical, athletic, with incredible range. We saw him live during one of our satellite camps, and we're like, we definitely have to have this kid. Loved how he competed, always went to the front of the line. You would think he had pads on in a no-padded camp. That's the way he played. He's still playing again. He's in the 4A Division I state championships in the state of Texas. Plays on Friday as well. And 2025 season stats, 94 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2 picks, 11 PBUs. Really, really thankful that Trayson's coming out here from Texas. Last but not least, Tavion White from Waukee, Iowa. Excited to have him, two-way player. Physicality, coverage, was a senior eval for us. Not everybody gets offered as a freshman. Not everybody commits as a freshman or a sophomore. Some people need that senior year to show what they can do. And he got better and better and better as he went throughout his senior year. And we were like, we absolutely have to have this kid. He's a three-sport athlete, track and field, ed basketball as well. So Tavion, we're really excited to have him. So that is the 2026 class. We're really excited to have these guys, as you can imagine. And again, a top 25 class, the first top 25 class we've signed at the University of Minnesota. So we're very proud of it. A lot going on right now. We've got recruiting going on right now, obviously with signing day. We're retaining our players. We're in bowl practice prep right now, getting ready to go out recruiting also in January, and the holidays are right around the corner. So there's a lot going on in Gopher football. I'll open it up for some questions. Boom, here we go.
PJ, you often talk about development of your program being the foundation of it, but this class is bigger than usual. How did it grow to be 31 players, and how much room does that leave for the transfer portal?
Well, I think it looks, we're still going to take players in the transfer portal. There's going to be natural retention within your team, and then there's going to be natural attrition on your team. And you've got to know that. You have an idea as you continue to go. I know I'm not allowed to talk about that as we keep going forward, like before this day of who's coming, how many we're going to sign. But as a head coach, you know more than most about who's staying, who's going. You might have already had those conversations. So that's where the numbers come from. And then that gets added to the portal number. So we feel very good about where we're at in the numbers, whether that's high school players or whether that's portal here to come.
You talked about adding speed in this class between Ryan Estrada, Braden Stevens, Quade Hendricks. Why was that such a big inflection point for your personnel staff to get faster?
Yeah, because I think that we've got to be able to stretch the field vertically more. We do. And, I think one thing, when you look at us on offense this year, I think you have one of the future best players ever to play at Minnesota in Drake Lindsay. I do believe that. And when you look at our roster this year, playing a freshman quarterback, how are we going to manage games? You don't have Darius Taylor for more than half the season. You don't have, A.J. Turner, who's your second best tailback, and Feme came along on that. Our offensive line, there's some experience, some not experience. So when you're looking at it from a freshman quarterback standpoint, how can you manage the game offensively, keep games really tight, and then win the close games, win one-possession games? That was the whole philosophy. Next year, we're going to have to be able to open it up more. We're going to have to be able to stretch the field vertically more. And it doesn't matter if you're a transfer, if you're a sophomore, or you're a junior, or you're a freshman player. If you can stretch the field vertically, and you can stretch the field and run away from people and create separation, we're going to play, get you on the field, and that's where we're working towards next year's offense.
Dunn and Luciano have some versatility in their game, ability to move around on and off ball. How much did you like that versatility and how that projects into your system?
Yeah, with Luciano and Dunn, it kind of reminds me of Carmo last year and Ethan Stendel. They have a lot of versatility too, right? Nate Cleveland, ton of versatility. And I think when you have versatility, and this is why multi-sport athletes matter to me, and players that play multiple positions on their high school team matter to me. And then it comes down to their physical traits, their emotional intelligence. Can they do all that? Their actual intelligence. Can they play multiple positions? Because it gives us versatility on defense to allow people to grow into certain different positions. It allows them to go from linebacker, Will, Mike, Sam. You don't always have to be in the field, and you don't have to always be in nickel. Sometimes you have to be in dime because of depth at linebacker. You can be in base when other teams are in 11 and 10 personnel and feel very good about it, where you can still stop the run if they're a heavy run team, even if they're spreading it out. So the amount of versatility with some of these players is incredible. And if we can just continue to recruit, retain, develop, repeat, that's our philosophy as we keep moving forward on roster management and building. And these guys allow us to do that. Hi, Randy.
PJ, how happy is Brian Callahan with the offensive line haul you got today?
Well, Brian Callahan was in my office first in every time zone with the phone. With his guys, his O-linemen, first on the phone at 7:00, right there waiting outside my door. So I think that tells you how excited he is. about this offensive line class. Not only that, doing everything we can to retain as many offensive linemen as we can, and then continue to add to that with the high school players we signed, and then working through the portal coming up. But nobody develops talent like Brian Callahan. And I really believe that, and I'm so excited that he's our O-line coach. And it was a more challenging year this year, that's for sure. But I thought he did a tremendous job working through that, and I thought that showed that in that Wisconsin game when you have to end the game and ending the ball on offense, running the football.
PJ asked this question, assuming that you're comfortable knowing that you're going to have Drake around for at least a couple more years, how much is that a selling point to recruits, knowing that you have some stability there?
I think it's huge. I think it's when you have a quarterback that has the cultural sustainability like the head coach does, I think that marries together and it matches. I really believe that. I can't say that like in the past you never really involved your quarterback as much in like the recruiting process, talking to him about what's going on, what your plans are. But Drake and I talk about these things all the time. It feels more like an NFL conversation about roster building around the quarterback because I like him to have input. I really do. And I think that's a really unique relationship where I think you start seeing like separation at certain times in certain teams of head coach from GM to player to coaches. Like, they don't all want to combine. They want to keep it all business. We don't. There's a business aspect and a transaction piece to the transformational program. But our players are still in my office. We're still talking about the roster. We're still talking about recruiting. We're still talking about where we're going as a program. And they have to know that, buy into that, and believe that too, and see it, and not just have you say that to do what you want them to do, and that's retain them. And I think Drake Lindsay does a tremendous job of that. And I've never had more open conversations about that. Maybe with Max, I've had a lot of conversations, life, football. But when you look at the actual like changes of college football and being able to share information that maybe you haven't had to share in the past, I think those relationships and conversations are very healthy. But yes, when people walk in and see Drake Lindsay as our quarterback and know that you're either going to like receive the ball from him or block and then receive the ball from him as a tight end, you start getting really, really joyful really quickly.
PJ, you talked about how coveted Aiden H. was. What can you share about the recruiting process with him?
You know, he's got a lot of people in his life that have supported him over the years. And it's a very unique family, and it's a very unique life. And everyone around him has embraced him and has loved him. And he's a really incredible young man. In the process, when he committed to us, we're sitting there going, oh my goodness, like we got him somewhat early. It wasn't late. It was somewhat early in the kind of, I would say, more mid. But we going to Indiana, you just don't know like with how close things are. His family's really close to him. There's a lot of schools that are a little bit closer. And then as recruiting got hot and heavy at the end because all these teams were coming in on him. And we're talking about a top 40 national recruit. So some people only look at that and will offer a kid just to offer a kid to improve the recruiting rankings. But he stayed steadfast in his decision, and he was very, very loyal to us, and I appreciate that. But every time we get on the phone, he's got a huge smile on his face, wearing Gopher gear, and we're proud to get the number one player out of the state of Indiana.
PJ, we hear a lot of anecdotes about family and kind of connection that you have with different members of family. How do you kind of look at that in your recruiting process of making those connections? Well,
I think it's absolutely critical. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox about something, but Garrett just held his breath. But these are still young people, right, that pick a head coach. They pick a place. They pick coaches. They pick people they think they can trust. And now we're getting into a piece like with these contracts and agents where I'm still going to talk to the parent. Like, I'm not going to stop talking to parents. Like, I know agents probably are listening and watching the press conference. Like, I'm not going to stop being the head coach. Like, I'm not going to stop having relationships with my players, and I'm not going to stop having relationships with our players' families, which is what everybody wants in business. And I'm not going to do that. I had a player walk in and say, it's just business. I said, it's not business here. There's a piece of business here, but this is not business. This is a life program. And these guys knew exactly that because I give that line. It's not about de-recruiting during those meetings, but I tell the parents exactly what it's like. You know, go to a tailgate, talk to our other parents. Feel free. What you see is what you get. This is a holistic program, a life program where the business transactions are a part of the transformational life program. It's just so, yes, those parents are so important to me. But there's people saying, don't talk to the parent. I'm the agent. No, I'm going to talk to the parent. I'm going to talk to the parent. Yep, and I'm going to talk to the kid because that kid's going to sit down there. And we don't want to talk money, but that kid's going to sit down there and have a man-to-man business conversation before he goes and runs your company or you hire him. He has to have a conversation with me. Let's teach you how to have your first business type conversation away from your agent, everybody. When you go out to dinner, when you're going through the draft process with the GM and the owner and the president, that's a pretty big deal. So we better get a little uncomfortable being comfortable being a little uncomfortable. And that's okay. I'm not trying to trick a kid. I mean, the salaries are kind of set by the market. So I just want to talk to the kid, and I'm going to talk to the parent. If people don't like that, they don't like that. But that is my promise to families. And so this is adapting to this new era, as I said, but I'm not willing to change who I am. And these parents, I give them a lot of credit, and I give a lot of credit to the parents that we're retaining, that they still like to talk to the head coach. I think that's great. I think that's really healthy. All right, they'll do the business aspect with Garrett and Marcus. I get that piece. Great question.
First house.
You mentioned multi-sport athletes a lot while talking about this class. How do you think different traits across sports translate to football?
Yeah, I mean, we're going through that with our own children. I have 4 kids, they all play sports, and my advice is play as many as you can. Whether they listen to me or not, I'm not a forceful parent, like you're going to do it, but I want them to do that because it's competition year round. And it's not like competition in a training session with some guy. It is true competition in a different sport that requires different athletic traits. I think that's fabulous. And I think the more you can do that, the better. Sport, you have to fully commit to saying, I'm going to play sport. With sport, there's always risk of injury. We play the most violent sport in the world, right? At the highest level. Well, there's risk of that. But playing other sports allow you to adapt to different environments, compete in different environments, have different skill sets, and develop those different skill sets. When I watch an offensive lineman play basketball, nothing makes me happier. It doesn't. There's this big offensive lineman with sweet feet. I mean, he's moving his feet. He's got great hips. He's got buttery hips. I mean, he's doing like hook shots. I mean, he's getting big rebounds. Is he tough? How is he rebounding? Is it just coming to him because he's the biggest guy? Or is he ripping it out of the air? That matters. So it's all part of the evaluation process.
Last question for Andy.
Andy's on a roll.
Following up on building around Drake going into next year, who are some of the top of mind weapons? Obviously, Javon Tracy that you kind of look to as returning guys that you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, the Jalen Smiths of the world, and you look at all of our tight ends as we keep moving forward. They're a big piece, as you can see, just to our offense. Obviously, Darius and Feme, as you look at them, getting A.J. Turner back healthy is going to be really, really critical. I mean, I don't think a lot of people got to see how good A.J. Turner really is. Especially at the outside zone play. He's one of the best outside zone runners that I've had and I've seen. And we just never got to that part after the start of the 3rd game. He's out for the year. So getting him healthy is going to be absolutely critical. The O-line, I consider them playmakers. They allow the playmakers to happen. So those are going to be things that we continue to look at, as well as some of the other receivers. I think Nuke Hayes always comes along as we get towards bowl prep. He's going to have a big piece of that as we keep moving forward. But, we just need some to add to that room. High school, I think we've done that. And I'm not saying everybody's going to be ready to play, but we need 1 to 2 of those guys to be ready to play, just like Jalen Smith was close to being ready to play. I think that's going to be really, really important. All right, everybody, listen, I know we've got the media in here, but we also have a lot of donors and supporters of our program in here. And I can't thank you enough for all that you do and allowing us to be your head coach. 9 years, going to be going on 10 years here coming up, a whole decade. And I'm just honored to be your head football coach. Today is a very exciting day. As you can tell, I get really excited because I get to watch our staff, our recruiting staff, our coaching staff really feel the joy of the process. And we're going to celebrate the rest of the day. We're going to do probably some contract negotiations, but we will celebrate the rest of the day and then start our first bowl practice tomorrow. So excited to get going on that as well. So thank you very much for all your support. We can't do it without you. As we continue to go forward, let's keep doing it more. Let's keep doing it better, and let's keep changing our best. So row the boat, Sky Imago Gophers. Thanks for having me.